Hi Taurus, welcome to your week ahead tarot scope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. This week, your key to the week is the Death card. All right, so this is about endings, completions and culminations for sure. But this week, I actually feel like this is about pressing the reset button. So the Fool card can do that, but the Death card can also do that because it's a finite end or completion to something. And that's the feeling that I get this week. So it's likely that something is coming to an end, but it's by your conscious decision. I feel like a lot of you are ending, some of you may be ending a relationship, some of you might be ending a job, some of you could be ending, maybe a certain thought pattern or a belief structure. There's something that you're putting to the side this week because it no longer has any weight in your life, or it's not serving its purpose. Maybe there's something in your life that is not fit for purpose. In a lot of ways, when the Death card shows up, something is coming to an end, but I kind of feel like for you guys this week it's consciously led. This is about you saying yes, this thing, this connection, this idea, this thought process, this way of existing it's run its course, and now I'm letting it go through its natural death and I'm removing it from my life. So this is going to be a very eliminative week, but it's going to be a very consciously led eliminative week. With that said, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. If you are a continued subby, you know Rafi loves you. And if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit the subscribe button. For your actions and options, you have the Emperor card. So it's interesting that you should have this card because the Emperor is Aries energy. And the Death card is Scorpio energy. In ancient astrology, both of these planets are actually ruled by Mars. Interestingly enough, the Death card is number 13, 1 and 3 gives you 4, and the Emperor card is number 4. All right, so you've got a double hit of 4 energy. 4 energy tends to be grounded, stability, practical. The Death card, universal law. Everything at some point will have its natural death. The Emperor is established human law, if you like. So it's a really interesting dichotomy here. Now, because you have the Emperor in your actions and options, this is about you being very intentional this week. And I kind of feel like a lot of you are pulling rank, all right? So this is likely to be where you stand up, where people hear you raise your voice. It doesn't have to be shouting, swearing, and all the rest of it. But this week, you are taking command of a situation, maybe in a way that you haven't before, maybe in a way that you haven't previously. For a lot of you, I kind of get the feeling as well that this is going to be somebody in your midst that you realize has been undermining you for a while. And it's kind of like maybe you sat back and waited to see, like, is this actually the case? Is it just how I feel? I'm going to bide my time. And like this week, you get to a point where it's like, no, you know what? You are now taking the piss and I'm going to call you on it. So it looks like a lot of you are pulling rank and you're bringing something to a close on a very finite level. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Death card. So you got a double hit of this Death card energy. Now, for those of you, I'm going to talk about those of you that are partnered or married, and for those of you that are employed as well, because the Emperor can literally represent your boss, your husband, the most important, prominent, masculine figure in your life. You've got a double hit or a double dose of the Death card, and you've got the Death card in your communications and conversations, which means this week you are choosing to end a contract, whether verbally, maybe you're handing in your notice. For some of you, it could literally be that. Maybe you're handing in your notice and you're deciding to go solo. It's like, you know what? I'm done with the 9 to 5, going to start my own business and I'm going down this route. For those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, and in fact, for all of you, Taurian, Sun, Moon and Ascendant, something this week you are speaking out into the world that you are ending something, a completion, an ending. This could be a friendship, it could be a job, like I said, it could be a contract, it could be that you're releasing a client, whatever it might be. A lot of you this week are going to say this thing goes no further. When it comes to those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, for some of you, you could flat out, like, especially if you've gone through the whole rigmarole of, you know what, I'm going to uni, it's time, I'm going to get my degree, and like this week, you could just say, actually, you know what, no, I don't want to do that. It's not what I want. It's not what I decide. For some of you, this could be a complete 180 or a complete change on the subject matter that you're deciding to study. But for a lot of you, I kind of feel like this is where your studies come to an end. For some of you as well, you might be deciding that, maybe you decided you wanted to go back to school. You've gone through the whole process and now you think, actually, you know what, this isn't that, this path isn't for me. When it comes to your come on brain, home, when it comes to those of you that are employed by somebody else, you could literally, you could literally this week be handing in your notice and saying, right, you know what, I'm handing in my notice, it's time for me to go solo. For some of you, this could be because of a bust up that happens with a boss. So, I predict that some of you could walk out. It could, on the other hand, as well be that some of you are thrust into a position of leadership because a boss or a superior walks out. When it comes to your business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, you have a really solid shot here to do something completely brand new. But it is going to require you to relinquish your hold on something that has probably been a money spinner up until now. That could be quite hard for a lot of Taurians because it looks like you're basically shooting one sort of revenue stream down in order to go for a new one. And obviously whenever you do that kind of thing, wherever there's a transition, there's always a bit of a scary period. So it'd be interesting to see how it plays out. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, I do need to say, for a select few of you, this could be an important male figure in your life that you hear passes. This could also be on the wider world stage that a prominent figure or potentially a monarch passes over the course of this week. Obviously, I hope that's not the case for a lot of you. And also, another way that this could play out if you're retired and no longer working, this may be where you withdraw your support. And it doesn't have to be financial support, but it could be where you say, you know what, I've given you advice, I've been there, I've listened to you, I've done what I can to be there for you, but unfortunately you keep making the same mistakes or you keep doing the same thing. I'm wiping my hands of a situation. So for a lot of you, you could be stepping out or bowing out. For your love and relations, you've got the Page of Cups. So you've got a time sequence that comes up very strong here. Pay attention to what's happening over the course of this week when it comes to your relationships, because you'll be revisiting it again in Scorpio season, and my money is on that eclipse. The eclipse on the 25th of October, we'll have a solar eclipse at 2 degrees of Scorpio. And so Scorpio season is making itself known this week. So pay attention to whatever happens, whether you're single, whether you're partnered, whatever happens this week is going to give you a heads up of what's happening for you around that eclipse on the 25th of October. Pay attention. For those of you that are single and looking, look, I mean, when it comes to relationships and partnerships, this is the completion or the end of a certain situation. And for some of you, I feel like this has been a situationship where maybe you and a person have danced around each other. You've come together, you've pulled apart, you've come together, you've pulled apart. And this week, it's almost like you're saying, you know what, I'm done with the saga now. For those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, something about your relationship is coming up for evolution this week. And it's like, a lot of you might be saying, you know what, I know you love me, but I need you to change this. And in order for you to prove that you love me, I am going to need you to change it. This could be a behavior pattern. It could be something that this person is doing that you don't agree with. It could be that maybe, it could be anything from they're spending too much right through to, you know what, when you get drunk, you're actually quite mean, and everything in between, right? So it's obviously going to depend on your certain situation. But like I said, whatever comes up for you this week, you will be revisiting again in October. So really do pay attention. When it comes to your money and materials, you've got the Three of Swords. So for some of you, this could be a week where there is talks about inheritance. You've got a double dose of the Death card, you've got the Page of Cups, you've got the Emperor, and you've got the Three of Swords. This is because the Three of Swords in your money sector, this suggests that you're parting ways with finances or resources this week. For a select few of you, maybe because there's been such a dispute over an inheritance, etc., you could just be like, you know what? this. I don't want it. All right, like if it's going to cause this much aggravation and this much annoyance or whatever, just keep it, you know, give my portion to whoever else. That's one way this could play out. For others, this could literally be maybe a revenue source that you had expected to come through doesn't, and so now you're kind of looking at things and saying, okay, well, with that money gone, it changes my plans. For some of you, you are in a transition point of one resource into another, or one way of making money and coming into another. So it will be interesting to see how it plays out. For your physical health and vitality, this is going to be your kidneys and your a part of your liver and your urinary system. Because you've got the death card here as well, and the death card rules your, you know, like your colon, all of your excretory places, and your oh, come on, brain, your reproductive system. I am going to say, you know, I touch wood, I hope I'm wrong, but I would say, I'm not a doctor, I can't give you medical advice or diagnose anything, but there is a potential here for you to have some kind of problem or issue with your waterworks, all right? So be mindful of that. When it comes to your home and environment, the Three of Swords, honestly, there could be something that is released from the home this week, and because you've got the Page of Cups in the love and relations, I touch wood again, I hope I'm wrong on this front, but if you have pets, I'm really sorry to say this may be a week where you're losing a pet. It doesn't have to be death, it could be that you know, an animal runs away. I really hope that's not the case, but it is a potential, all right? With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. I know it looks like a heavy week, but I have no doubt you will make it through. With that said, take care and I'll see you soon.